What happens to our sense of justice when the courtroom is no longer a physical space but a screen? In recent years, criminal justice systems in many countries have increasingly adopted digital tools, particularly remote hearings by video link. Their use expanded rapidly during the COVID-19 pandemic and has, since then, remained an important feature of many systems. In this video, we'll take a closer look at the use of these video links from a procedural justice perspective, because although these technologies may improve efficiency and accessibility, they also raise important questions about how proceedings are experienced. This is what is especially relevant from a procedural justice perspective, which focuses on whether people feel heard, respected, and treated fairly. This perspective will be the main focus of this video. This video is mainly intended for criminal justice practitioners, including judges, prosecutors, defense lawyers, and court staff involved in remote hearings. With its focus on procedural fairness, it may also interest other professional groups such as academics and policymakers who are concerned with digital justice. After watching this video, viewers should be able to understand how appearing remotely may shape the experiences of justice. They should also be able to identify key procedural justice challenges related to courtroom communication, participation, and legitimacy. And finally, the video aims to help legal professionals identify the risks and opportunities of remote hearings and reflect on how procedural fairness can be safeguarded when using video links. This video explores three connected themes drawn from the legal and socio-legal literature on remote criminal proceedings. First, it examines communication and interaction in remote hearings. Second, it considers effective participation, including issues of dignity, understanding, and meaningful engagement. Third, it addresses courtroom authority and legitimacy in remote settings. Before turning to these themes, we will first take a closer look at the broader concept of procedural justice. Procedural justice is often described through four elements. The first one is voice. Voice is the opportunity to tell your side of the story and have it seriously considered. Next is neutrality. This refers to the belief that decision makers act impartially and apply rules fairly. The third element is respect. The aim to be treated with dignity by the legal system. And finally, there is trust. The confidence that judges and other professionals are sincere and trying to do what is right. Research shows that when people experience these elements during legal proceedings, they are more likely to view the process as fair and to accept decisions, even when the outcomes are unfavorable. Procedural justice therefore focuses not only on what decision is reached, but also on how the decision is made and experienced. This perspective leads to a central question. How do digital technologies influence people's experiences of fairness in criminal proceedings? Research in this area is still developing. In this module, we will focus on three themes drawn from the existing legal and socio-legal literature: communication and interaction, effective participation, and courtroom authority and legitimacy. Let's start with the first theme. Criminal proceedings traditionally rely on physical co-presence, where communication includes both verbal and non-verbal elements such as eye contact, facial expressions, and body language. Remote hearings change this dynamic. Non-verbal cues can be harder to perceive, and small technical delays may disrupt the flow of interaction. A UK study found that some lay users struggle to communicate effectively with judges during remote hearings and were sometimes unsure when to speak or whether their points were understood. Research also suggests that maintaining eye contact online is more difficult, which may weaken trust and interpersonal connection. Because only the head and upper body are often visible, signals conveyed through posture or subtle body movements may also be missed. From a procedural justice perspective, this matters because it may affect whether participants feel heard and understood. At the same time, remote settings can sometimes improve visibility, for example, by allowing closer views of the face of the person speaking. Overall, communication in digital court settings requires careful management as remote interaction demands different skills from in-person communication. Let's now move to the second theme. Procedural justice requires more than presence alone. It also requires meaningful participation, being able to understand proceedings and contribute to them. Remote hearings can complicate this. A recurring theme in the literature is the difficulty of maintaining effective communication between defendants and their lawyers. Confidential communication may be hindered by logistical barriers, limited real-time interaction, and fewer opportunities to consult. Defense lawyers have also reported that it can be harder to reassure clients, maintain human connection, and adjust their defense strategies during remote hearings. Concerns have also been raised about dignity. Muting participants, reduced comprehension, and a weaker sense of courtroom presence may create feelings of detachment. In an Australian study, some incarcerated defendants described feeling like they were just a face on a screen. At the same time, remote hearings may benefit some participants by reducing stress, easing practical burdens, and creating a more comfortable environment. Young witnesses, for example, may feel less intimidated when testifying by video link. Overall, the impact of remote hearings on effective participation is mixed. This brings us to the third theme. Courtrooms are not only functional spaces, they also communicate authority and seriousness through their setting and rituals. Remote hearings alter these features. There is an important difference between entering a physical courtroom and joining online. Walking into a courtroom can prepare participants for the significance of the event. Online, this experience may be reduced to clicking a link. Participant behavior and decorum are closely connected to this theme. Research indicates that remote hearings may sometimes lead to more disruptive behavior, including interruptions or reduced discipline. During the pandemic, some defendants joined proceedings from highly informal settings such as their bedrooms or even operation rooms. If proceedings appear less formal, this may affect how participants perceive the authority of the court and its ability to control the process. At the same time, new digital practices and rituals may emerge. The key issue is not simply the loss of physical presence, but how authority and legitimacy are communicated in a digital setting. Taken together, these three themes show that the digitalization of criminal proceedings significantly changes how participants experience justice. Remote proceedings offer clear advantages in efficiency and accessibility. They can reduce transport burdens, improve scheduling flexibility, and in some cases increase comfort and security. At the same time, research on user experiences remains limited, especially from the perspective of defendants, victims, and witnesses. Existing research findings do raise concerns about dignity, trust, comprehension, and meaningful participation. Further research is therefore essential to ensure that digital justice is not only efficient, but also experienced as fair and legitimate. If you're interested in a complete overview of the research in this area, you are more than welcome to have a look at our background paper and the literature mentioned there for further reading. You can find this on our project website. Thank you very much for your attention.